This segment of the Alice Stewart Show is brought to you by Aero Plumbing. For all your household or business plumbing needs, call Aero Plumbing at 1-866-PLUMBER or schedule an appointment online at aeroplumbing.net.
Oh, welcome back to the Alice Stewart Show. 7:35, 25 minutes before 8 o'clock. And it will not be long before Arkansas legislators are sworn in for a new term at the state capitol. And returning to his work in the state senate is State Senator David Sanders, who joins us this morning. Senator Sanders, good morning.
Good morning, Alice. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for joining us. We know that members of the House, a lot of legislators have been going through orientation and setting the agenda this week. What about you? You've been there. You're heading back. But what's been on your agenda, or your plate, gearing up for the legislative session?
Well, it's interesting. I think being a lawmaker in Arkansas used to be sort of the idea as a part-time job, but realistically, it's a full-time job year-round because there's so much work that we do in the interim in terms of not only looking at interim studies and preparation for legislation, but literally the interim work of the legislature, be it whether or not you're reviewing a contract, looking at rules and regulations, deciding agreements between agencies, deciding personnel issues. But that we've been undergoing budget hearings since September, October, and preparing the budget, which is really the most important thing that we do because money and how we spend that money is tied to our policy priorities. So those are the things that we've been doing, and my focus hasn't changed individually. In terms of my focus on criminal justice, parole, strengthening that system. My focus this time is, I tend to be one that thinks that the more the public knows, the better off we are. So if you look at transparency in criminal justice, in Arkansas, we're one of the few states that actually restricts access to the complete criminal record of an individual. What a person does out in the public square, the crime that he or she commits against his or her fellow man is, of course, that is public record. But in Arkansas, what a person does behind bars, one's disciplinary record, how they comply with that, what they're doing, that's hidden, that's shrouded actually from public view. We're going to change that.
That's important.
But it's very important because you have to, when these individuals come up for review by the parole board, right now, we don't know what they're doing. And honestly, it really hampers the legislature in terms of being able to provide effective oversight. So that's one of the things that we'll be doing. Hopefully, we won't have to do as much. I've been meeting with correctional officials, asking them to begin the process of releasing information, and I think they do have the authority to do, and we'll see if that happens. But if not, we stand ready to change the law.
And that has been something you've been certainly leading the charge on with regard to criminal justice issues there at the legislature. I want to ask you about another, will certainly be a big focus. It certainly was the last session, but it's the private option. And
Sure.
what will become of that? Of course, you were a supporter of that. Now with Governor-elect Hutchinson in there, we expect to see it maybe a different vantage point from the governor's office. But what do you see as the future of a private option?
Well, again, I think the important thing to remember about the private option is that it was never an end itself, but a means to an end, and that is to begin the process of transforming both healthcare and the social safety net. For decades, you know this, I know this, the social safety net in this country has not become, or has not been a hand up, rather it's been a destination point. And so what we're looking at doing, and what we started, is to change that. And healthcare obviously has been something that's just been horribly. If you wanted to fix something or create something to fail, you would create the American healthcare system. And of course, there was the overreaction that was the president's healthcare law. But I say this: first of all, you and I think just about everybody out there believes in markets, believes in the profit motive, believes in. But also, we also know that in order for a market to work, an individual needs to be able to make judgments based on price and quality. that information has been largely shielded from the public with regard to health care in terms of price and quality. Price is something, it really depends on who's paying. And then in healthcare, what we need is an effort to make it a sort of an informed consumer-driven enterprise. And it's one thing to have a high-deductible HSA where you have a little bit more input on your spending, or you're incentivized to have a little bit more input on your health spending. But it's another thing to be able to look at the information and make sense of the information and understand who is truly the best provider, doctor, healthcare professional for your dollar in terms of small things, but in terms of large things, in terms of diagnostic procedures. And the other thing is this, in terms of healthcare, when you look at, a news report about a stock, when you watch the folks at CNBC or Fox Business, we have disclosure rules in this country where we say, you know what, if you have an ownership position in that company that you're reporting on, you're going to disclose it. I think we need the same thing for healthcare professionals today. You should have to disclose business arrangements. You should have to disclose, what fellowships, what awards, what grants, what clinical trials you're participating in, because after all, healthcare is a very important thing. And, many times it's a life or death situation. So I think, in the very least, those of whom we've entrusted our care should, and I think they will. This is not a debate, really a controversial issue. I think they'll be certainly willing to disclose those things, and then we can begin to transform the system.
I think that's one of the keys in so many areas of government and business is transparency and seeing what's the possible motive or some type of incentive for various decisions.
Sure.
All right, we appreciate your time this morning. Look forward to talking with you soon, and it will be certainly an exciting new session with new Republican leadership in the governor's office. State Senator David Sanders, thanks so much.
Thank you, Al.
All right, have a great day. We will take a break. When we come back, we will talk guns, Second Amendment rights, and what you need to know, actually growing support for the Second Amendment in Arkansas and the country. This segment of the program brought to you by Arrow Plumbing. Give them a call, 501-588-3200, or go online at arrowplumbing.net.